morning, and welcome to another edition of Southern Sandpiper. I'm your host, Kenny, and today it is one of my favorite days, which is Merchant Service Monday. And today on Merchant Service Monday, I'm smoking one of my favorite new shapes from Merchant Service, and that is the 1935. This particular shape is based upon the classic Dunhill LC. It is a beautiful swan neck. It is a large pipe. I was thinking of the size of this pipe, it would be much closer to a group 5, maybe even group 6 Dunhill size. It is not as large as my ODA. It's definitely not as large as Magnum, but way larger than a group 4. And just a beautiful smoking pipe. In it today, I am smoking. I got several bags to try of Wien's blendings tobaccos. This is Wien's Gandalf's blend. And if I move that bag too quickly, I will read it for what's here. It is a fire-cured Cavendish tobacco with sweet Virginias. This blend has tones of black tea and orange and vanilla in taste. When I first heard that description, I did not think it was going to be something I was going to like. Even though I like orange and vanilla, who doesn't like dreamsicle? My wife doesn't. Thinks it tastes like baby aspirin. But I thought it was probably going to be goopy and artificially tasting, and probably something that I wasn't going to be pleasant to my palate. I tend to like things that are maybe vanilla and maybe some caramel or rum if I'm going to have an aromatic tobacco. Vanilla probably being the top, as well as chocolate. But I have not found a commercially available chocolate that I really love. So I mix my own. I have like 5 or 6 various chocolate tobaccos that I blend till I get it just right. And sometimes I'll take that chocolate and mix it with some Latakia or some other English blends and make my own chocolate English blend, which I personally like better than any commercial one I found. But I was not really confident that this was going to be a tobacco I wanted. I primarily bought this tobacco because it was brought up on one of the Facebook groups on what is the most pleasant smelling aromatic that you have, what smells wonderful and tastes like it smells. And Tim had mentioned this, and in my mind I'm thinking, okay, well, here's a pipe blender who says his tastes like this, but who knows? I had never had any of his tobaccos. So I'm always hesitant. I'm very skeptical when people make certain claims. Well, I try it myself. I think like everything in life, till you have that direct experience, a direct gnosis of something. You're guessing. I can't tell you what chocolate tastes like unless you have it yourself. I can describe it to you. I can give you a nice creamy feel of chocolate mousse and what it tastes like. But if you've never had chocolate mousse, you don't have a clue. Same is true with all pipe tobacco. Be hesitant on vendor reviews or what anyone says. Taste is subjective. We all have different taste buds. They all work differently. So I recommend, if you've never tried a tobacco, there's 2 great ways to try tobacco. Either one, if any of your friends have any, ask if they want to share. Hey, can I try a bowl of this? Hey, would you mind selling me a bowl of this? Or hey, can we trade? Joining pipe clubs and pipe groups is wonderful for that, especially if you guys get together and have like pipe meets, and or even just meet together at the local pub once a month or so and enjoy some pipes. It's a good way to exchange and trade tobaccos. I do this with a good friend of mine, Tim, and I try stuff and I'll give him samples and he tried something samples, and it's a really great way to expand your taste and your palate without spending an arm. But I had heard this about this tobacco, and I said, I'm going to try it. Wow. Wow. It is for an aromatic, just amazing. I can still taste the tobaccos. It is not a heavily topped or taste tobacco. It is not goopy. I don't think he's using any PG in here because it does not leave any type of goopy residue on my fingers. Mm. It's a very light orange essence. I'm not going to call it an orange flavor. Even though I taste the orange, it's not like orange juice or having like a sweet orange dessert or like a baby aspirin or like a dreamsicle. You know, all of those things are kind of artificial orange. I live literally this way, about 2 blocks from an orange orchard and place that sells them as well. It's a orange stand in the middle of an orange orchard, as they call it. So I'm used to fresh citrus. We've got Meyer lemon trees in our property. We only consume fresh citrus. We get either squeeze our own juice or we get it right from the orange grove that squeezed our fresh squeeze daily. It's not pasteurized. Maybe if you were to get fresh squeezed orange juice and kind of watered it down to almost like an orangeade instead of like a lemonade, you get hints of that. The vanilla kind of sits underneath and kind of just adds kind of a creamy mouthfeel. It is definitely not like a Lane BCA, which usually I taste a little bit of chocolate and chocolate liqueurs and vanilla. It's not just straight vanilla. If he's using a pre topped vanilla, I would guess it's probably a European guessing this would probably be a European just straight vanilla Cavendish that he's using in here. But the flavors are sublime. It's a beautiful mixture of and let me put this in the catch-all, I think. Better than trying to show you all from a bag. In here. It's a beautiful, that's probably better. Beautiful reds and yellow Virginias. What appears to be some stoked or steamed Virginias in here as well. I'm seeing some of the black Cavendish as well. It's hard for me to give you an exact hint note from this because I throw all my tobacco in this. So it's actually better from the bag to give you a more accurate. But you do smell that black tea. And when they're saying black tea, they're meaning black tea, not like Lipton, more like my favorites, which is like an English breakfast or a Scottish breakfast or an Irish breakfast tea. I only drink 4 teas. I drink an English breakfast tea, a Scottish breakfast tea, Irish breakfast tea, and PG tips. That is it for me. I like black teas. I do not like American style like Lipton, which is like an orange pekoe and black tea. They don't have a strong enough flavor. I like a nice strong black tea. And this has got that black teeness to it. Like I said, the vanilla kind of sits underneath. So I'm noticing that smell of Virginia's, that tartness. Not really kind of that McClellan's ketchupy, if you know what I'm talking about. Um, some Virginias have kind of that vinegary, some kind of that citrusy, and some smell like friggin' ketchup. This isn't one of those. It's tart. There's slight tartness there. Not a lot, because you get that sweetness coming through mostly of these Virginias, but a slight tartness. And that could be because of the orange, but it's kind of that citrusy, tangy tart. But it's underneath. You get a creamy mouthfeel on this. Like most aromatics, I would recommend sipping this slow to give the most amount of flavors. You start getting aromatics really high and you lose it all. They just taste like cardboard, in my opinion. But wow, the room note. I'm outside and I'm getting the room note. And it is just heavenly. I don't think there's any way possible you could smoke this in public without being approached and people going, "Oh my God, what are you smoking?" Or, "Oh my God, my grandfather smoked a pipe but never smelled tobacco this good." You're going to get compliments. Aromatics, in my opinion, play a really, really important role for us pipe smokers. And while at home I may really, really love smoking an English blend, my recommendation, in my opinion, and we all know what they say about opinions, um, is that when we're out in public, I highly recommend you smoke aromatics. "Oh, but Kenny, I don't like aromatics, blah, 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 blah." Well, slow down and look for one. Not all of them are goopy messes, and many of them can be quite lovely. And the advantage to us as pipe smokers, it kind of opens up more doors. If you're being an inconsiderate neighbor, nobody likes an inconsiderate neighbor. And same is true for being a pipe smoker, guys. If we're out in public, one, don't smoke a pipe in a non-smoking area. That's just bad behavior. Two, be mindful of those around you. You see small children, or don't light up a pipe around them. Now, if they're 100 meters away or something, yeah, go for it. But I'm not going to light up around kids or families. I'm generally going to be isolated, or I'm going to be in places mostly for adults or all adults, like a bar or a pub. And I'm usually, because the laws now, unless I'm in a cigar bar or a place that allows smoking inside, or in a pipe shop, I am going to be smoking outside. And generally in a place meant for adults. But every now and then I will light up, excuse me, off the main road. I had a complaint the other day in one of my videos about outside noise, and I get it. But I really enjoy doing this outside. But back to my story on this, is that when I'm outside in a public place, I try to make sure I'm isolated, I'm off. And if someone wants to approach me, that's fine, but I'm not going out being like, "Hey," walking around with my pipe hanging out of my mouth. I just don't do that. I'll sit down, enjoy my pipe, and try to be isolated when I'm in public. But this is one of those tobaccos I think that people are going to approach you on because the smell is wonderful. And it's part of why I'm saying learn to like aromatics. Because as pipe smokers, we want to give a good public perception of pipe smoking, not being stinky and horrible like people associate with cigarettes. And if you're smoking a blend that only as pipe smokers enjoy, it's going to turn off a lot of people. Two is that if you start smoking a pipe with aromatics that smell nicely, it may actually encourage other people to get into this hobby. Men who's never smoked it, or a woman who smells it and encourages then her boyfriend or spouse, "Hey, Have you ever considered smoking a pipe? I know you smoke cigars or you used to smoke cigarettes. Or, I just think, honey, that pipes are pretty cool. Have you ever tried it? The more people we can get back into our hobby, the better it is for all of us. I think we're kind of living in a golden era of pipes right now. In my opinion, some of the best pipes in the world are being produced right now. We can argue that many of the pipes from the past had better briar. I don't know if I agree with that, but there were some great pipes in the past, and that leads me into this pipe. This pipe is based upon the Dunhill LC. I don't know a lot of people who are making this shape. Merchant Services one. There is another small American briar manufacturer of pipes who makes the shape similar to this. I don't believe the shape they made that was like this is now in production anymore. I think this was like the C13. No, I think they have a 12 and it's smaller. This is definitely a larger pipe. It is not as big as my Dunhill ODA, but it's a larger pipe. It's going to be a good hour's smoke. I started this before the video. You can see I smoked about half of this. You can see how nice, clean both its tobacco burns and how well even this pipe burns. Beautiful. I'm mostly a Canadian and Bing smoker. I started off with these shapes, and I love these shapes because it's just kind of that classic. To me, it's kind of a classic Sherlock Holmes pipe. And you take a look at some of the old movies that Basil was in when he was doing Sherlock Holmes. I swear he's smoking Dunhill LC, same shape. I know Peterson is really associated with that, and I don't know if they've got a patent or a licensing agreement with the holders of the estate to the name of Sherlock Holmes. But to me, this is kind of that classic Sherlock Holmes shape. It is a super easy draw. It burns really clean, smooth, all the way down to the bottom. Perfect draft hole. There's a reason I love Merchant Service Mondays, because I get to smoke a Merchant Service pipe. I'd probably smoke them every day, but I got too many other pipes to smoke them every day. I couldn't justify the rest of my collection if I only smoked my Merchant Service, even though I've got the whole entire top row of my rack and plus a few extras of Merchant Service. I think I'm up to 9 now. One of them is still off by Greg being repaired. I broke up being my special. I dropped it. Really disappointed with that. Disappointed myself. Out of the pipe. Pipe design. I don't care. Just make a being. Even if it's, I've seen some people reinforce them with carbon fiber rods instead of metal rods. It still would have cracked and broke the shank. Sip this tobacco. If you don't sip an aromatic, they can bite. This one is a perfect moisture though, so I don't think you're going to get much bite. And there's not this heavy goopy topping. Gorgeous pipe. Complaints, not for me, from others. Some people will complain that with this shape, you cannot pass a pipe cleaner through. Well, I can't on many, or really most of my Petersons. This particular shape, and I'm inserting a DJ long pipe cleaner. That's as far as I get that pipe cleaner. Dunhill got around this issue by the shank was 2 pieces on the Dunhill. Okay, so they could drill it where it could pass. Is it a big deal? I don't think it's a big deal. There are people who say, I will not buy a pipe unless I can pass the pipe cleaner through it. Hogwash. That does not affect your pipe. And anyone who says so, they're full of themselves. I can clean this pipe perfectly the way it is. Most of the time, I don't have to take this off. If I want to take it off once or twice a week, or even once a month, or even less, because I'm not smoking this pipe a lot, because I've got lots of pipes, I can remove the stem. I can easily clean it down to the bowl, clean it out the way that I need to. Now, let me pull this out. Hold it here. Be careful. Okay, there's where this is, and I just want to show you where we're going so you all can see. There's my thumbs. We're going to hold it there. This isn't scientific, guys, but you can see that it is basically right there, right where it would typically enter the bowl. It's not because of its shape. It's not really able to go there. I'm a wet smoker, and I'm not getting any gurgling on this. I have 2 of these pipes, in sandblast and one in their natural, or I believe they call it British tan. They both smoke equally well. These are not available on the Merchant Service website. They are only available exclusively through Blue Room Briars. And I believe they still have a few up on their website. So any of y'all who want something unique, I mean, you walk into a pipe shop, you around other pipe smokers, you're not going to be running into guys having these. These are limited production for Merchant Service. I believe they did a total of, I think, 200 pipes. 200 pipes worldwide of this right now. That's it. So you're not going to run into a lot of people with these. Unless you're hanging around a bunch of guys who all like Merchant Service pipes. And then I guarantee you they're going to have one. Because these guys who love them, we tend to be fanatics about them. But just a lovely, lovely pipe. And there's not a lot of custom builders making them either. I've seen custom ones. The cheapest custom I've seen has been like 400 up to about $2,000. I'm going, $2,000? I would pay it, but not when I have a pipe that smokes this well. For these artesian pipe makers and the ones who can get a pipe cleaner to go, God bless you. I don't know how you're doing it. I have no idea without doing the way that Dunhill did and made a 2-piece shank. I don't know how, but this pipe smokes amazing. Perfectly drilled air hole. Perfect draw. You notice I'm talking as much as I typically do. Got the gift of gab. But I'm not having to relight this pipe as much. This pipe practically smokes itself. You heard me all complaining 2 days ago on a 7L. And nothing against 7L. I like 7. I was just disappointed in that particular pipe that it was. I have to pull hard. I don't want to pull hard. I've got stage 3 congestive heart failure and I've got breathing issues, so. I want no effort when I'm smoking a pipe. Just breathing. Absolute perfection. Perfection in a pipe. Highly recommended. If you guys like this shape, again, Blue Room Briars is where mine came from. Only place you can get these. Go check them out. Great pipe. We'll talk a little bit more about this Gandalf's, and then we're going to call it for today. I only know how to find this from going to the Facebook groups that sending him a PM. I don't think he's got a website. I think he should. I think he would attract a lot more customers. He's a fourth generation blender. His grandfather was blending pipe tobaccos at Great Lakes Naval Base up in, I believe that's Waukegan, Illinois. I'm originally from Chicago. Yeah, Waukegan. Being a jarhead. A Marine Corps 0311. Infantry. I just spent a lot of time in Navy base. My twin brother was stationed at Navy base. My identical twin brother, Arlie. Shout out to Arlie out there. Hello, Arlie. Arlie was a guard. That's not even good. He had Marine Corps barracks duty. He was stationed mostly, I think actually all the time at naval air stations. Concord Field, NAS, and Moffett Field. That's where he met his lovely wife, Vesna. Met when he was a young Marine. They got married. I think he was just at 21 or right before 21. No, 21. Our father had died. Actually, our grandfather. We were adopted by our grandparents. And our grandfather died a month before our 21st birthday. Our birthdays at Christmas, and he died in November of that year, right before our birthday. But he was stationed at Naval Air Stations. And Moffett Field, which is now owned by Google. I think Google has a research lab or something. Well, that's it for today, guys. In other words, I'm just going to sit here and ramble and ramble and ramble. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Southern Sandpiper. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell for notifications so you know when I'm releasing new videos, as well as feel free to share this video with friends. Again, thank you for being part of my daily life, and thank you again for watching Southern Sandpiper. Have a great day.